Hello everybody, my name is Travis Allison. I'm here at Tri-State 2012 with Michael Thompson, who's the Ben Applebaum Forums. Thanks, Michael, for coming.
Thanks, Travis.
How was your talk this morning?
I thought it went well. You have to ask the listeners. You know, the speaker's always a little taken with himself.
Yes.
But I was very pleased to be invited to speak in Ben Applebaum.
Yes, great. That's great. So, you were talking about your new book, which I'm going to ask you about, but you have your own camping experience, don't you?
Yeah, but as a boy, I started out at an Audubon camp in Sharon, Massachusetts, Moose Hill Sanctuary. I can still sing you the song, and you know, it was a nature camp. I was a New York City boy, but we went up to my grandparents in Massachusetts, and this was the nearby camp. And so I went to day camp for many years, and then later, when I was fighting with my parents at 14, I got shipped off to Camp Keewaydin in Ontario.
Yes.
And they thought it would make me humble. In fact, carrying a canoe around in my head made me even more obnoxious than I had been.
Yes.
And I really fell in love with Keewaydin. And the North Woods and paddling. I mean, once you get now, for reasons I won't go into, I lost touch with Keewaydin. I did some summer jobs, and then I later came back and had a stint both as a student at Hurricane Island Outward Bound and later an instructor at Hurricane Island Outward Bound. So that I put all of those experiences together as my campus.
For sure. Is there something that you took away from your camp experience that, you know, the big impact of camp on you?
Yeah, the big impact of camp on me is one I'm still writing. I did it. It was mine. It belonged to me. My parents weren't there. They didn't know anything about the Moose Hill Bird Sanctuary. They didn't know anything about how I spent my days. And so it was mine. I mean, it also belonged to my older brother and my cousin Bonnie. And we still talk about it.
Of course.
But I owned it. And that's part of the point I make in Homesick and Happy, is it is so hard for kids today to own their experiences because their parents are sort of cultivating and giving lessons and coaching and town teams. How does a kid know this is my experience? Well, it's partly you go away from your parents and then it's yours. Simple, but profound in my opinion.
No, I agree. And I grew up a rural kid, so I had lots of sort of alone experiences in the woods before I started at summer camp. So I think of the same thing, like those are my experiences, and that's such a good argument.
Travis, I've been asking audiences for a bunch of years, and now looking back I realize it was a ramp up to writing this book. But I've been asking audiences for a bunch of years, what was the sweetest moment of your childhood? Just think, free associate the sweetest moment of your childhood. I give them 10 seconds and I say, okay, for how many of you were your parents present in that moment? 20% of them raise their hands, and then they look around and they laugh. And the 20% are remembering Christmas or family Seder or Thanksgiving. Just all the things as a parent you hope. But 80% are remembering, I was away from my parents, I was out in nature, I was with my friends, and we were doing something a little bit risky. And
I was jumping my bike.
That is the sweetest moment of my childhood. And when parents think that they can create an experience for their children that's going to be that great memory, they are in fact misguided. Your kids probably have to be away from you.
So as you said, your new book is Homesick and Happy.
Yeah, the book is Homesick and Happy. The subtitle tells it is completely descriptive. How time away from parents can help a child grow. And that's the case I'm making. Why you have to get away from your parents to make certain kinds of developmental leaps.
Well, how do camps, camp people I think understand that in their hearts, but have a hard time communicating.
no, what camp people are doing is when they meet nervous parents, they're saying, oh, we'll take care of them the way you do. We'll look out after them the way you do. That's not what a kid wants.
Right.
A kid wants not for camp people to take care of him or exactly the way their anxious mom does.
Yes.
They want some loose restrictions, and that is, of course, the genius of camps.
Right.
Because I wrote a chapter in the book called The Magic of Camp.
Yes.
And I put 10 things that I think are the magic of camp.
Right.
But as a mental exercise, I said, all right, what's my number one? If I were forced to choose one out of the 10, and it would be the magic of putting 11-year-olds under the care of 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. Because not only is that so rare in our society, it's just that 19-year-olds identify with the 11-year-old need to play around, to be independent, to goof, and it doesn't bother the 19-year-olds. Because they're not 39. And when 11-year-olds feel understood by a 19-year-old, or when they hero worship their 19-year-old. I had a woman close to 60 years old tell me her counselor, Blondie, she just wandered around in love with her for a summer. And that, seeing somebody new outside your family who you want to be like is incredibly powerful to a psychologist.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of my camp path was set by a counselor when I was 11 years old. The counselor said to me, "You'll be encouraged."
Camps are the last place in America that think about leadership very intentionally. I'm the psychologist I'm a consultant to a lot of very fancy independent schools and public schools. None of them do the kind of leadership training or look at kids as potential leaders in the way the camp does. Because the camp knows we're going to put this, they're looking at a 12-year-old Dickie. When he's 19, we're going to put him in charge of 12-year-olds. So we got to start now.
Yeah, that's great. Michael, how can people find your book or get in touch with you if they want to hire you?
Travis, it kills me that I don't have my book at the conference. But the pub date is May 1st.
Right.
Homesick and Happy comes out from Valentine. It'll be in every bookstore. It's right now available for pre-order at Barnes & Noble online and Amazon online. And then they can just go to michaelthompson-phd.com.
Great. That's good. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Travis.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for being here at the conference.
Well, you're very welcome.